Parents. If you're a person who loves watching cartoons, chances are you like Fairly Odd Parents. Or should I say, liked Fairly Odd Parents. Most people can agree that Fairly Odd Parents had some absolute banger episodes back in the day. Things were mostly lighthearted, they got emotional when they needed to be, and best of all, everything actually made sense. So what actually happened to the show? Well, in a previous video of mine, I looked at the episode where everything changed forever and the entire foundation of the show was flipped on its head. To make a long story short, everyone seems to be in agreement that season 10 is when everything started to break bad. So today, I'll be taking a look at the worst episode that's hated by almost everyone in full to see if it's really that bad. But remember, you can enjoy it still if you want to, okay? Even if I say it has horrible writing, bad ideas, different animation. Wow, this is gonna be rough, isn't it? Also, there's like a brand new Fairly Odd Parents reboot coming out in like a day or two, I think. I hope it's good, I really do. But I'm pretty sure people are just gonna hate on it regardless. So anyway, grab your copy of Pikmin 2 for the Nintendo GameCube, and let's watch the most hated Fairly Odd Parents episode of all time. This episode that everyone seems to dislike so much is called Certifiable Super Sitter. This episode has Vicky in it, who I think is extremely unlikable, so please, whatever you do, please don't have a major role. Oh yeah, they changed the theme song. It's so bad. Am I trolling? It's so bad. Our story begins with Cosmo and Wanda all excited as they await the arrival of their son, Poof. Their son is enrolled in some sort of fairy school, I think, so they haven't seen him in a while. The only problem is that Cosmo is an absolute idiot in this episode and has no idea who his son even is.
I've missed Poof so much! Who's Poof?
Get used to characters being frustratingly stupid. It's a common theme in this episode. We then get this goofy bit where Timmy walks into the room and Cosmo thinks that's his son because Cosmo's stupid. Then like 4 seconds later, Chloe walks into the room and Cosmo thinks that's his son because Cosmo's still stupid. Also, I've already decided in this video to not really explain every character and what they're all about because I'm assuming you probably know them already. But just in case you don't, because it's kind of important, I should probably mention that Chloe, this girl right here, is a main character of this TV show. Like if you've never watched season 10, at the very beginning of it, there's this whole episode where Chloe ends up sharing Cosmo and Wanda with Timmy forever. It doesn't really make much sense. She's like super happy and successful, which is the opposite of someone who should have fairies. I made a whole video on it. Check it out if you want context. Her character isn't that bad, honestly. She's just kind of boring and a know-it-all. But even still, I'd say 99% of people hate her because she just randomly shows up one day out of nowhere and is inserted into every plot line for the rest of this cartoon's existence. How fun.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Anyway, so Chloe is super excited to meet Poof because I guess she never has before. She mentions how much she loves sniffing babies, which is like really weird. She makes a really big point of this too, so I guess remember it. Poof is gonna get home and then this complete stranger is just gonna start huffing his head. Timmy is also very excited to see Poof. He explains that because Poof is just a baby, he sometimes grants wishes that are completely inappropriate because he just doesn't know any better. Timmy just self-reporting here, saying that he just takes advantage of Poof all the time. Timmy does specifically mention a previous wish granted by Poof, this being a talking boxing kangaroo. Again, this seems extremely silly and just a quick bit, but I promise you it's important to mention, so try to remember it. Anyway, so Poof finally arrives, and I'm assuming it's the first time in the entire series that he actually talks because Wanda makes a big deal out of it. And at this point in time, I want to quiz you real quick. If you were a writer on this show and you had to decide what kind of voice to give this baby, what would you do? Would you A, give it a baby voice? B, give it a normal adult voice? C, make it do random outdated celebrity impressions depending on the context of the situation? Or would you D, it's C? Of course it's C.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's gonna be huge.
Like, who is this for? I'm so confused. Anyway, there's also 2 other fairies alongside Poof. There's this one dude, his name is Sammy, and he's always super happy and loves sweets. Honestly, I don't really know him. He just kind of makes me mad. No one is that happy. I hate you. Okay, maybe that was a little harsh. And there's also this blue fairy that straight up just looks like a Minecraft mod. His name is Foop, which is Poof backwards. These 2 are like polar opposites, but I guess in this episode they hang out as friends, kind of. Doesn't really make sense. Major season 10 energy. I do want to preface the rest of this video by saying that I haven't watched every Fairly Odd Parents video, okay, so I don't really understand the whole lore. I'm just reviewing this specific episode in the context of itself. Anyway, Chloe tries to sniff Foop because she loves sniffing babies, remember? But he threatens to actually end her existence, so the kangaroo comes back out of nowhere and does his thing.
Shrimp on the bobby!
Nice.
Yeah, Punchy.
Because he's Australian. Turns out it's actually spring break, so everyone here is in agreement that it's time to party and have some fun. Foop suggests hanging out with some girls, but Wanda gets really mad by this. Wanda says that hanging out with girls is not age appropriate, which we all know is what this TV show has notoriously strived for. So thank you, Wanda, for keeping the family-friendly creative vision back on track. Anyway, so everyone's having a fun time now, just swimming in a pool and stuff. And this is probably when I should mention the animation style and how it's changed a bit. I'm not really what you'd call an animation expert. I'm just a guy who used to watch the show a lot as a kid. And if you were that too, you probably noticed the episode just looks different. The characters move and the environment reacts in a different way. I just wanted to show attention to it. It's not necessarily bad, but it does kind of just look like every other show that comes out nowadays. I'm pretty sure the reason for this is just because it's cheaper to animate this way. And as a mid-20-year-old who hasn't watched the show in like 10 years, I feel very betrayed. So people are swimming, the happy dude is churning butter while making sexual innuendos about it. Very family friendly. Thank you, Wanda.
Age appropriate!
Poop is the only one not having fun because he's evil, remember? That's like his whole thing, I guess. So he decides to set up a trap to eliminate Cosmo and Wanda so that he can have a naughty spring break. Or something like that. This is literally every 15-year-old boy after watching Project X for the first time. Cosmo and Wanda fall for the bait, so in their absence, someone needs to be in charge and watch over everyone else. This is when Chloe jumps into action and calls herself a certified super sitter. This is where the title of the episode comes from. She said the thing. Also, I should mention, the trap that was set to take out Cosmo and Wanda, they thought they had a reservation to like this fancy place, but actually it just turns out to be a black hole, which leads them into another dimension. And yes, this actually works, and they both die. They must be really big fans of Fortnite, season 11.
I can't move my camera, guys. I literally can't move.
Anyway, because of this, Foop thinks he can finally do what he wants, but Chloe is taking full charge and has already planned out everything they're gonna do, so I guess Cosmo and Wanda just died for nothing. Foop gets really angry about this, so Sammy uses his powers to turn his sour attitude into a sweet smile, and honestly, this would kind of be a very clever use of Sammy's power. That is, if it wasn't stated like 3 minutes ago that he specifically isn't able to do exactly what he just did.
I can take anything sour and make it sweet.
Except me, of course.
The smile.
Like, did the writers of this episode talk to each other while coming up with this stuff? Was this AI generated or something? Like, I actually have no idea how no one thought about this massive gap in their logic. I don't understand. Also, out of nowhere, Timmy's dad joins the party. Chloe is told to watch over him as well, as if he's some sort of child who has special needs. I remember the dad always being kind of goofy in the earlier episodes, but the way he's portrayed here is just straight up brainless. He's very, very stupid here.
What's with the helmet?
This just a fashion choice.
Right.
Okay, let's
Was he always that stupid? Anyway, so everyone is just hanging out now. We got Timmy and his dad, Chloe, and the fairies. The blonde one is still happy, the blue one is still angry, and the dad is still an idiot. So far, nothing of note has really happened, and we're halfway through the entire episode. There is this bit where Poof spawns in Mr. Crocker as a punching bag, and the kangaroo shows up and hits him really hard. I usually don't think random equals funny, but this was so out of nowhere that I actually chuckled a little bit. I won't lie. In the middle of all this chaos, Chloe also somehow gets close enough to sniff Foop, because she likes sniffing babies, remember? I guess this is the closest thing we have resembling an actual storyline so far, so I don't know, one clap for that. And listen, so far this episode is pretty bad, right? It's got some bad writing and doesn't make sense half the time. But what if I told you the main idea behind this entire episode has yet to even begin? That's right, despite all the non-PG moments and annoying choices so far, the worst has yet to come. Hold on tight, it's gonna be a bumpy ride. This is when we meet the main antagonist of the episode and low-key the entire series, Vicky the babysitter. If you don't know her, she basically always tries to hurt Timmy, and I'm pretty sure she has like 2 friends total on Facebook. The rest of this episode changes themes entirely because instead of trying to find out what to do for spring break, the gang now has to try and survive getting backstabbed by Vicky, who I guess has a chainsaw to like cut them. Like, that's probably the most gruesome way to take someone out, but okay, whatever you say, Butch Hartman. The idea of this is that Chloe was appointed as the babysitter for the evening, but that's historically been Vicky's job, so now Vicky is super mad and wants to fight Chloe because she's like, you know, on her turf or something. And you know what, on paper, this isn't actually a horrible idea, especially since I think this is the first time Vicky and Chloe actually meet, so having them butt heads immediately makes sense. But what makes absolutely zero sense is how Vicky is doing all of this in front of the dad, who has always been oblivious to this side of her, like, always. That's kind of the joke, is that the parents never catch Vicky doing the evil stuff. Also, she does this while the fairies are just like floating around in front of her. Does Vicky know about the fairies? I guess it's possible. I haven't seen that episode if it happened, but she doesn't seem to care about them at all. Neither does the dad, by the way. So I don't know, maybe he knows about the fairies. Maybe everyone does now. I don't know. He's also just really stupid. So maybe he doesn't even know what's going on. I honestly have no idea what I'm watching.
Say hello to my little friend.
Nice, dude. That's a reference all the 10-year-olds are gonna understand for sure. So the rest of this episode is basically just Vicky's regime. Timmy calls out to Cosmo and Wanda, but they can't hear him because they're inside a black hole. They're not actually dead forever. Obviously, that was a joke. They're just in some weird floating dimension thing. And also, Mr. Crocker is there too. I'm not sure why or how, to be honest. Maybe he just gets really bad FOMO or something. Vicky is now taking over everything. She throws a trap door on the ground, which ends up leading to another room somehow. You could ask the world's leading science experts, and none of them will be able to tell you how this happened.
I have no idea.
She uses the fairies as a footrest and a side table, and also uses the dad as a chair, which again, not sure why the dad is playing along with this. He's the adult. And also that just looks really uncomfortable. Why would you want to do that? Meanwhile, Timmy and Chloe went down the hole and are in this dungeon room thing. Vicky shows up on screen dressed like the puppet from the Saw movies, which is definitely a reference just for the sake of having a reference, honestly. I don't know the exact overlap between Fairly Odd Parents fans and Saw fans. Can't imagine it's very high though. In this dungeon, Timmy and Chloe are forced to pick up garbage and eat Brussels sprouts, all while a video of Mr. Crocker reading his dream journal streams live for 24 hours. This is obviously just nonsensical torture that doesn't really tie into anything specific in this episode. Like, why not have Vicky throw her own spring break party, only to have Timmy and friends cater to everyone and basically be unpaid butlers for the day or something? They could be watching other people have fun in front of them. At least that would have loosely connected the episode somehow. Like, anyway, the garbage is coming down into this room so fast that Timmy and Chloe decide to use it to climb back up the tunnel they fell down in the first place. And then once they're at the top, Vicky and Chloe have a little standoff, and we get the wildest playground insult I think I've ever heard in a cartoon ever.
Certified stupid sitter.
Oh! She got you there, I won't lie. This entire sequence ends with Chloe and Vicky fighting in a 1v1 on Rust to see who's the better trick shotter. I know some people don't really hate Chloe because honestly, she's not that bad. But having arguably the two most hated characters in the entire series fight each other here is just so funny to me. Like, imagine the Drake and Kendrick beef, but if it was Logic and Macklemore. Like, you know, like chances are no one would care. Chloe pulls out a lightsaber because, you know, it's a reference. Vicky pulls out her trusty chainsaw. I'm surprised she's not also wearing a Jason mask, you know, for the ha-has. They have an epic battle to the death, which ends in Vicky almost getting the W. That is, until, wouldn't you know it, the kangaroo from the beginning comes in and punches Vicky square in the teeth. I told you it was important.
Shrimp on the barbie.
Nice, dude. Now that's what I call a punchline. The punch is strong enough to give Vicky a concussion, which I guess no one is concerned about. This gives Poof enough time to shoot her away with some magic, while of course saying some outdated movie quote. And then literally just like that, everything is back to normal. Everyone's happy now, even Fu. Cosmo and Wanda are finally back. Not sure how they managed to escape a black hole, to be honest. It's never explained. And best of all, Timmy's mom shows up and finally has a line of dialogue in this episode.
I think someone's dinosaur helmet's a little tight.
And that was the most hated Fairly Odd Parents episode ever, apparently. There's a lot of reasons people hate this one. It's kind of dumb. Vicky tortures everyone for the sake of it, and it honestly just feels like a filler episode. Nothing really matters in it. Plus, a lot of the rules this universe established early on feel like they just don't apply here. I'm not sure if this is a normal thing for every episode in season 10, but from what I hear, season 10's pretty bad. And although, to be honest, I haven't watched most of it, if the rest of the season is anything like this episode, I'd be inclined to agree. So, someone commented a theory that Butch Hartman purposely made season 10 as unwatchable as possible because he wanted the network to cancel it or something. Not sure if that's true, but honestly, it would explain a lot. But hey, at least Poof says that one funny line.
Hello, I'm Luigi, and I'm here today to tell you all about puberty.
But yeah, that's the end of the video. Real talk, motivation has been rough lately. I get in my own head a lot, so thank you to everyone who shows any kind of support on these videos. It truly makes my day. I can't thank you enough. Become a member if you can afford it and want your name at the end of all my future videos. Thank you to all my current members. I wouldn't have the confidence to do any of this without you guys. I appreciate you all so much. Subscribe so I can hit 25K before my birthday. That would be really cool, honestly. Paul Abdul scores this one a solid black hole out of 5. And yeah, thanks for watching.
I think someone's dinosaur helmet's a little...
The smile.